Hello, good morning. Talking about hexagram 60 articulated limitation. It's a reset, rerun from March 11, 2025 by James Bird. Hexagram 60 articulated. Welcome everyone. Today we'll explore hexagram 60 articulated, also known as imitation. This concept is all about finding balance. Then, hexagram 60, articulated. If we delve into this text, think of limitation as not as a restriction, but as a guide, much like the framework that it enables creativity and growth. That is, it's about setting boundaries that help us focus and achieve our goals, yet knowing when to adjust those boundaries to maintain flexibility. It emphasizes a framework that enables creativity and growth unrestricted, but also restricted to successful outcomes. That is, it's a corridor to successful outcomes under restrictions. Consider how limitations in your own life have shaped your path. They help you succeed, or have they sometimes left, or have they sometimes felt too restricted? As we move forward, you see how this balance of structure and freedom is not just a personal practice, but a universal principle. Now then, encouraging tone, let's delve deeper into the oracle's wisdom on this topic. Hexagram 60, that is, articulated limitations. The oracle, A, hexagram 60, G, articulated. Your limitations are moderations. Moderate. Double trigram, door, DUI, door, is open, marsh, or joy, or exuberated. Upper trigram is cane, water, water over the marsh. It's like mud. Okay. See the judgment. Limitation leads to success. However, excessive restrictions become burdensome and unsustainable. Like a dike, controlling water, proper boundaries, guide without suppressing natural flow. Now then, the image. water over lake. Seems reason. It contain yet dynamic system. The superior person establishes measurement and structure while preserving virtue and adaptability. It's like a dam. Let's delve into the essence of hexagram 60, known as G, or articulated limitations and moderation. First, consider the lower trigram, door. It signifies openness, joy, and the marsh. Then the upper trigram, king, represents depth, water, and the gorge. Together, they paint a picture of water over a lake. They contain yet dynamic system. It's about balance and control without stifling potential. Now then, on to the judgment. Limitation leads to success, but too much restrictions can be burdensome. Think of it like a dike controlling water. Proper boundaries guide the flow, but don't suppress it. It's about channeling energy effectively, along with efficiently as well. Finally, the image. The superior person establishes measurement and structure while preserving virtue and adaptability. It's about creating a framework that allows for growth and change, maintaining both structure and flexibility. As we resonate, these key points resonate, we transition to the next slide. Interpretation, nature of limitation. Life operates within cycles. Each phase demands different constraints. Restrictions are necessary for focus, yet they must evolve. Hexagram 60 reminds us to intentionally set boundaries that align with our objectives, to recognize when self-imposed restrictions must be adjusted. Also, that limitations create discipline, but only when applied with wisdom. Key concepts here: structure and freedom must coexist. Again, with a welcoming tone, brief recap. previous slide to maintain continuity. As we delve into the interpretation of hexagram 60, let's consider the nature of limitation. Life is a series of cycles where each phase necessitates its own set of constraints. So it's important to remember that while restrictions are essential to maintain a focus, that is, they must also be adaptable to remain effective. Change with the times. That is. Hexagram 60 encourages us to set boundaries that are intentionally aligned with our goals. This means being mindful of when adjustments are needed to our self-imposed constraints. It reminds us that while discipline is born from limitations, they must be applied with wisdom to truly benefit us. Again, hexagram 60 encourages us to set boundaries that are intentionally aligned with our goals. This means being mindful of when adjustments are needed to our self-imposed constraints. It reminds us that our discipline is born from limitations and must be applied with wisdom to truly benefit us. Besides, the key concept or message here is that structure and freedom must coexist. It's about finding that balance where boundaries provide a framework, yet allow for the flow of creativity and growth moving forward. Let's conclude with an engaging question, or should I say a reflection point. We're at is consider how you might balance these elements in your own life. How do you currently, how do you current, how do your current limitations serve your objectives? Where might there be room for adjustments? Interpretation, articulation, and growth. Growth requires articulation, expressing limitations, adapting, and refining one's approach. Communication and self-awareness allow limitations to function effectively. Restraints should guide progress, not suffocate potential. Discipline must ebb and flow with circumstances. Hexagram 60 emphasizes measured expression, knowing when to speak, act, or hold still. Quiet restraints. Let's delve into how articulation and growth are intertwined. Growth isn't just about expanding, it involves articulating, expressing our limitations, finding our approach. I want to emphasize articulating and refining. That is, refining our approach. First, communication and self-awareness are key. We by clearly communicating and understanding our limits, we allow them to guide us effectively. It's corral. Second, our restraints are necessary. It should guide our progress without suffocating our potential. First, communication and self-awareness are key. By clearly communicating and understanding our limits, you'll allow them to guide us effectively. Second, while restraints are necessary, we should guide our progress without suffocating our potential. Again, lastly, discipline is not static. Must It must ebb and flow with circumstances. It's about knowing when to express ourselves, when to act, or when to hold still. Hexagram 60 teaches us the art of measured expression. It's about balance, knowing precisely when to step forward, when to step back. Conclude with a confident tone. You can scan the audience. Move on to the next slide. Potential applications, personal development. Setting goals with discipline. Every achievement requires limitations, time, focus, and effort. Excessive restrictions may hinder more than help. Balancing structure and flexibility. Sustainability requires adjusting constraints. Life demands both commitment to rules and adaptation to reality. A paradigm shift, that is. Let's delve into how we can apply the insights from hexagram 60 to personal development. First, consider the role of discipline in setting goals. Every achievement indeed requires some limitations, be it time, focus, or effort. The key is to remember that while these limitations are essential, they should never be so excessive that they become a hindrance rather than a help. Next, we explore the balance between structure and flexibility. Sustainability in personal growth comes from knowing when to adjust constraints. Again, sustainability and personal growth comes from knowing when to adjust constraints. Life is a dynamic journey that demands both a commitment to rules and the ability to adapt to changing realities. Now then, as we think about setting goals with discipline, let's embrace the idea that limitations, when applied wisely, foster growth rather than restrict it. Practical applications, society and organizations. Regulations should guide, not constrain. Rules must be fair, structured, and adaptable. The middle path between order and chaos. Excessive restrictions cause rebellion. Too little structure leads to disorder. The best system support progress while allowing room for adaptation. Supports progress, allowing room for adaptation. It's the best system. Out here today, we're exploring how society and organizations can benefit from balanced structures. First, think about regulations. They should guide us, not hold us back. Rules need to be fair and adaptable, ensuring they serve their purpose without stifling innovation or growth. I want to emphasize the point about adaptability, not rigid with command. Next, consider the balance between order and chaos. Too many restrictions can lead to resistance, while on the other hand, a lack of structure invites chaos. Emphasize chaos. It's about finding that middle path with systems foster progress, but still allow flexibility for change, allowing for a valid paradigm shift. That is, finally, remember this: the most effective systems are those that support growth while providing enough room for adaptation. Be flexible, not rigid with rules and regulations. That is. This balance is key to thriving in any environment. Let's keep this in mind as we move forward to the next section, which is the conclusion. Talk about flow with form. Conclusion. Flow with form, that is. Hexagram 60 reveals that mastery lies in selecting limitations wisely. Don't self-restrict. Just as a river flows its banks, or should I say follows its banks, discipline and freedom must work together for the future 2027. This wisdom guides both personal evolution and collective progress. Flow with form, flow within form. That is. To wrap up our discussion, let's reflect on hexagram 60 and its profound lesson. True mastery is in choosing our limitations wisely. This is our takeaway, understanding how to balance structure with freedom. Imagine a river that flows within its banks, demonstrating our discipline, freedom can coexist harmoniously, coexist in harmony. This metaphor beautifully illustrates how we can navigate our own path by finding that balance, finding equilibrium. Looking ahead to 2027, this wisdom will be crucial, not just for personal growth, but for the evolution of our communities. Let's harness this insight to guide our journey towards a more adaptable and progressive future. Blue, with a confident, not positive nod, smile. We've now discussed the online course we have for you. This have the online course, How the Hexagrams in the I Ching work. Master the history, symbolism, and applications of the hexagrams with the course we're presenting here. Be learning methods of consultation and interpretation techniques, and exploring key hexagrams and their practical significance. Apply the wisdom of I Ching to everyday life. You learn that. Now then, as I said, you reach a point, I'd like to kindly inquire about the depth of your understanding regarding the I Ching in general. Here's what we got for you. Course syllabus, overview, exploring the hexagram in the I Ching. Hello. Course introduction. This syllabus outlines the framework for a course, how the hexagrams in the I Ching work. Participants will delve into the foundational wisdom of the I Ching, explore the structure of hexagrams, and learn how to apply this ancient knowledge for personal development, decision making, and spiritual practices. It will also be involved in gaining mastery over the history, symbolism, and application of the hexagrams, and as well as applying the insights of the hexagram to their daily life. They also discover consultation methods and interpretation techniques. All these are given in the online course. The link is mediaeplat.com. Enroll now.